Imagine a country so small on the map, yet so influential in the way the world lives, works, and dreams. A place where innovation, happiness, and sustainability are not trends, but daily life. Welcome to Denmark, a nation that quietly teaches the world how to balance freedom with responsibility, progress with tradition, and innovation with humanity. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why Denmark is more than just a Scandinavian gem. It's a blueprint for a future the world aspires to create. From thriving cities to untouched nature, from social trust to cutting-edge design, every aspect of Denmark tells a story of deliberate excellence. And today, we explore it all in stunning 4K detail. Why does the world keep looking toward Denmark? A small country, modest in size, quiet in tone, without towering skylines or overwhelming power. And yet, again and again, Denmark appears at the top of global rankings for happiness, trust, innovation, sustainability, and quality of life. Governments study it, cities try to copy it, people dream of living there. The question is not how Denmark became successful. The real question is why its success feels so different from everywhere else. At first glance, Denmark does not demand attention. Its landscapes are gentle rather than dramatic. Its cities feel calm, orderly, and human in scale. There is no sense of urgency in the air, no need to impress. And yet, beneath this quiet surface lies one of the most carefully designed societies in the modern world. Denmark does not chase greatness. It builds it patiently, deliberately, and with purpose. Denmark's strength begins with mindset. For centuries, this nation learned to survive without excess. No vast natural resources, no dominating geography, no empire to rely on. What Denmark had instead was necessity. The necessity to cooperate, to plan long-term, to trust one another. Over time, these traits became embedded into the culture, shaping how cities were built, how governments functioned, and how people lived their daily lives. Trust is the invisible foundation of Danish society. It is not enforced through fear or authority, but earned through consistency. People trust institutions because those institutions work. They trust strangers because systems protect fairness. Children grow up in an environment where safety is assumed, not questioned. This trust reduces friction in everyday life, allowing society to move forward smoothly, efficiently, and calmly. Denmark's global appeal also comes from its ability to balance opposites. Freedom and responsibility coexist here. Individual ambition thrives within collective support. People are encouraged to succeed, but never at the expense of others. Competition exists, but cooperation is valued more. This balance creates a society where progress feels shared rather than divided. The Danish approach to leadership reflects this philosophy. Decisions are rarely rushed. Policies are debated, refined, and designed for decades, not election cycles. Whether in education, healthcare, infrastructure, or energy, Denmark plans far ahead, often making difficult choices early so future generations can benefit. This long-term thinking is one of the reasons the world watches Denmark so closely. Economically, Denmark proves that prosperity does not require chaos. Businesses operate within strong regulations, yet innovation thrives. Workers enjoy security, yet productivity remains high. Taxes are high, but public services are reliable and visible, reinforcing trust rather than resentment. The result is a stable economy that encourages creativity instead of fear. Culturally, Denmark has mastered the art of living well. Not extravagantly, not excessively, but intentionally. Time is valued. Balance matters. Work serves life, not the other way around. This philosophy influences everything from urban design to daily routines. Cities prioritize people over cars. Homes emphasize comfort and warmth. Public spaces invite connection rather than isolation. Denmark's influence extends far beyond its borders. Its design principles shape furniture, architecture, and technology worldwide. Its environmental strategies guide global climate conversations. Its social systems challenge assumptions about happiness, success, and freedom. Denmark does not export dominance, it exports ideas. Perhaps this is the real reason the world wants Denmark. Not because it offers perfection, but because it offers proof. Proof that a society can be modern without being overwhelming, prosperous without being unequal, innovative without losing its humanity. In a world that often feels rushed, divided, and exhausted, Denmark represents something rare, a model of calm confidence. As this journey begins, Denmark invites us to look closer, to see beyond the rankings and headlines, to understand how quiet decisions made consistently over time can shape a nation the world cannot ignore. This is not the story of a country trying to lead. It is the story of a country that simply chose to build a better way of living, and in doing so, gave the world something it desperately wants to understand. Step into Copenhagen, and something feels different immediately. The air moves at a calmer pace. The streets feel designed, not imposed. Life unfolds without rush, without tension, without the constant noise that defines so many modern capitals. This is not a city trying to impress the world. This is a city that already knows who it is. And in that confidence, Copenhagen has quietly become one of the most influential urban spaces on Earth. Copenhagen is often described as one of the most livable cities in the world, but that label barely scratches the surface. What makes this city remarkable is not luxury or spectacle, but intention. Every street, bridge, park, and neighborhood seems to ask the same question: how does this improve everyday life? The answer is visible everywhere. From wide cycling lanes to waterfront spaces open to everyone, not reserved for the wealthy or the powerful. Movement through the city reveals its priorities. Bicycles dominate the streets, not as a trend, but as a deeply rooted system. Children ride to school, professionals commute to work, elderly residents move with confidence and ease. The city is built around human scale, where distances feel manageable and streets invite interaction. Cars exist, but they do not control the rhythm of daily life. Copenhagen proves that when people are placed first, cities breathe differently. Water defines the soul of Copenhagen. Canals weave through the city like quiet veins, reflecting historic facades and modern architecture alike. What was once industrial harbor space has been transformed into public swimming areas, parks, and gathering points. People dive into the water year-round, not for show, but because the city made it possible. Clean water, accessible space, and shared ownership turn nature into a daily experience, not a distant escape. Architecture in Copenhagen tells a story of restraint and clarity. Old buildings are preserved, not frozen in time, but allowed to evolve. Modern structures rise beside historic ones without conflict, united by simplicity and purpose. Design here is never loud. It solves problems. Buildings capture light, reduce energy use, and invite community. This philosophy has made Copenhagen a global reference point for sustainable and human-centered architecture. Public spaces are where the city truly reveals itself. Parks, plazas, and open squares are not decorative afterthoughts. They are essential infrastructure. People gather, rest, talk, and observe life unfolding around them. There is no pressure to consume or perform. The city allows stillness. This freedom to simply exist is one of Copenhagen's quiet strengths. Governance plays a crucial role in shaping this experience. City planning in Copenhagen is not reactive. It is visionary. Decisions are made with decades in mind, guided by data, dialogue, and public trust. Residents are not passive observers of change. They are participants. This sense of shared responsibility strengthens the relationship between people and place. Economically, Copenhagen thrives without sacrificing balance. Innovation, startups, and global companies coexist with small businesses and local traditions. Workplaces respect time, well-being, and flexibility. Productivity is measured not by exhaustion, but by effectiveness. The city understands that creativity flourishes when people feel supported rather than pressured. Culturally, Copenhagen reflects Denmark's broader values. Equality is visible, not theoretical. Spaces are inclusive. Opportunities feel accessible. There is no need to display wealth or status. Confidence here is quiet. Style is functional. Success is measured by quality of life rather than excess. What makes Copenhagen truly powerful is its influence. Urban planners, architects, and policymakers from around the world study this city, not to copy its appearance, but to understand its mindset. Copenhagen does not claim to have all the answers. It simply demonstrates what happens when cities are built for people, rather than profit alone. As the day fades into evening, lights glow softly along canals and streets. Cafes fill with conversation. Bicycles glide home under open skies. There is a sense of completion, not exhaustion. Copenhagen does not overwhelm. It reassures. It shows that modern living does not have to be loud, fast, or isolating. In Copenhagen, the future feels possible because it is already happening. Not as a grand experiment, but as daily life. This city stands as living proof that thoughtful design, trust, and human-centered choices can create an environment the world cannot stop studying and quietly hopes to replicate. What if the real strength of a country is not its economy, its army, or its influence, but the way its people think and live together? In Denmark, the most powerful resource is invisible. It is a mindset shaped over generations, quietly guiding how people interact, make decisions, and define success. This mindset is the reason Denmark consistently stands apart. Not louder than the world, but steadier. At the heart of Danish culture is trust. Not blind trust, but earned trust. People trust their neighbors, their institutions, and their systems, because those systems are built to work fairly and transparently. This trust changes everything. Doors are left unlocked. Children move through cities independently. Cooperation replaces suspicion. Life becomes simpler when fear is not the default setting. Equality is another cornerstone of the Danish mindset. Status is downplayed. Titles are rarely emphasized. Success is respected, but it is not used to separate people. There is an unspoken understanding that no one is above the collective. This creates social harmony and reduces pressure to constantly prove worth. People are encouraged to be capable, not superior. The concept of balance runs deeply through daily life. Work is important, but it does not define identity. Time is protected. Evenings, weekends, and vacations are treated as essential, not optional. This balance is not accidental. It is supported by policy, workplace culture, and social expectations. Productivity is measured by results, not hours sacrificed. One of the most widely known expressions of this mindset is hygge. Often misunderstood as candles or cozy interiors, hygge is really about presence and connection. It is the act of slowing down, sharing moments, and finding comfort in simplicity. Hygge reflects a deeper cultural belief that happiness is not found in constant pursuit, but in appreciation of what already exists. This mindset also shapes how Danes approach conflict and debate. Discussions are direct, but respectful. Compromise is valued more than dominance. Listening is considered a strength, not a weakness. These habits extend into politics, workplaces, and communities, allowing decisions to be made without extreme polarization. Responsibility is shared. People contribute because they see the results of their contribution. Taxes are high, but so is transparency. Healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social services are visible and reliable. This reinforces a sense of fairness and mutual obligation. People do not feel exploited. They feel invested. The Danish mindset encourages independence without isolation. Children are raised to think for themselves, but also to understand their role within a group. Education emphasizes curiosity, creativity, and collaboration over memorization or competition. Failure is not punished harshly. It is treated as part of learning. This cultural framework creates resilience. When challenges arise, there is less panic and more problem solving. Trust allows flexibility. Equality reduces resentment. Balance prevents burnout. Denmark does not rely on dramatic gestures or quick fixes. It adapts steadily, guided by long-term thinking. Internationally, this mindset fascinates the world. Countries can replicate policies, but culture is harder to copy. What makes Denmark unique is not one law or system, but the alignment between values and action. The way people think supports the way society functions. Daily life reflects this harmony. Streets feel safe, conversations feel open. Differences exist, but they rarely turn into divisions. People feel secure enough to be honest, ambitious enough to innovate, and calm enough to enjoy the present moment. This is why Denmark's influence feels so powerful, despite its size. It proves that progress does not require aggression, that happiness does not demand excess. That trust, when nurtured carefully, becomes one of the most effective forces a society can possess. As the world grows louder, faster, and more uncertain, The Danish mindset offers a different path, not an escape, but an alternative. A reminder that how we think, how we treat one another, and how we define success may matter more than anything else. What if the future of energy was not something to fear, but something already quietly working? In Denmark, the shift towards sustainability did not begin as a trend or a response to global pressure. It began as a necessity, and over time, it became a national strength. Today, Denmark stands as one of the clearest examples of how a country can lead the world toward a greener future without sacrificing stability or prosperity. The story of Denmark's energy transformation begins with vulnerability. With limited natural resources and a heavy dependence on imported fossil fuels in the past, Denmark faced a choice: continue relying on systems beyond its control, or invest in independence through innovation. The decision to pursue renewable energy was not only environmental, it was strategic, economic, and deeply practical. Wind quickly became the symbol of this transformation. Denmark's flat landscapes and strong coastal winds offered an opportunity, but opportunity alone was not enough. It required vision, public support, and long-term commitment. Over decades, wind turbines evolved from small experimental structures into powerful offshore farms that now supply a significant portion of the nation's electricity. These turbines do not dominate the landscape. They integrate into it, becoming part of everyday life. What makes Denmark's green transition remarkable is not just the technology, but the mindset behind it. Energy is treated as a shared responsibility. Citizens are not passive consumers. Many communities co-own renewable projects, giving people both a voice and a stake in the outcome. This shared ownership builds trust and acceptance, turning sustainability into a collective mission rather than an imposed policy. Beyond wind, Denmark invested heavily in efficiency. Buildings are designed to conserve heat. Cities use district heating systems that recycle energy from multiple sources. Waste is carefully managed, with recycling and energy recovery deeply embedded in daily routines. Sustainability here is not an abstract concept. It is woven into how people live. Innovation thrives within this framework. Danish companies lead global markets in renewable technology, energy management, and sustainable solutions. Research institutions collaborate closely with industry and government, ensuring that ideas move quickly from concept to reality. This collaboration has turned Denmark into a living laboratory for the future of energy. Crucially, Denmark's green policies are built for the long term. Targets stretch decades ahead, providing stability and clarity. Businesses can invest confidently. Citizens understand the direction of change. Political shifts do not derail progress because sustainability is seen as a national priority rather than a partisan issue. The global impact of Denmark's leadership is significant. Countries around the world study its energy systems, policy frameworks, and community engagement models. Denmark does not simply export technology, it exports knowledge. It demonstrates that environmental responsibility and economic growth are not opposites, but partners. Daily life reflects this balance. Clean air, efficient transport, and resilient infrastructure improve quality of life. People see tangible benefits from sustainable choices, reinforcing support and trust. The green transition feels less like sacrifice and more like improvement. Denmark's approach also acknowledges imperfection. The work is ongoing, challenges remain, but progress is steady, guided by evidence and adaptability. This honesty strengthens credibility. Denmark does not claim to have solved everything. It shows what consistent effort can achieve. As the world searches for answers to climate change and energy security, Denmark stands as proof that solutions are possible, not through sudden revolutions, but through patient design, shared responsibility, and belief in collective action. The future Denmark is building is not distant or theoretical. It is already turning in the wind, flowing through efficient cities, and powering daily life. And in doing so, it offers the world something invaluable: a practical vision of sustainability that works. Why does Danish design feel instantly familiar, even when you cannot name its origin? Why do objects, buildings, and spaces shaped by Denmark seem to fade into life so effortlessly, while still leaving a lasting impression? The answer lies in a philosophy that values purpose over display, clarity over excess, and people over spectacle. In Denmark, design is not decoration, it is a way of thinking. The roots of Danish design were formed through necessity and restraint. Limited resources encouraged efficiency. Harsh climates demanded comfort and durability. Over time, these practical needs evolved into a national aesthetic, defined by simplicity, functionality, and honesty. Every element exists for a reason. Nothing is added just to impress. Architecture across Denmark reflects this mindset. Buildings are designed to serve the people who use them, not to dominate skylines. Natural light is carefully considered. Materials are chosen for longevity and sustainability. Spaces feel open without being cold, warm without being heavy. Old and new coexist gracefully, proving that progress does not require erasing the past. In Danish cities, design shapes daily movement. Streets invite walking and cycling. Public buildings feel accessible rather than intimidating. Even infrastructure projects are treated as opportunities to improve quality of life. Bridges become gathering spaces. Waterfronts become public living rooms. Design here solves problems while quietly enhancing beauty. Inside Danish homes, the philosophy continues. Furniture is simple, comfortable, and timeless. Objects are meant to last, both physically and emotionally. Rather than chasing trends, Danish design favors pieces that grow more meaningful with time. This approach reduces waste and encourages a deeper connection to everyday surroundings. Globally, Danish design has become a standard of excellence. Chairs, lighting, and household objects, created decades ago, remain relevant today. This longevity is not accidental. It reflects a deep respect for craftsmanship and human experience. Designers ask how an object will feel in the hand, how it will age, and how it will fit into real life. Technology and design are closely linked in Denmark. Innovation focuses on usability rather than complexity. Digital systems are intuitive. Public services are designed to be clear and efficient. This emphasis on user experience reinforces trust and reduces friction, making everyday interactions smoother and more humane. Sustainability is inseparable from Danish design. Materials are sourced responsibly. Energy efficiency is prioritized. Products and buildings are created with full life cycles in mind. This holistic approach ensures that beauty does not come at the cost of the environment or future generations. The influence of Danish design extends far beyond aesthetics. It shapes how people interact, move, and feel. Thoughtful design reduces stress. Clear spaces encourage calm. Functional beauty supports well-being. These subtle effects accumulate, creating environments where people can focus on living rather than navigating obstacles. Education plays a crucial role in sustaining this tradition. Designers are trained to observe human behavior, question assumptions, and refine ideas relentlessly. Collaboration is encouraged. Ego is minimized. The goal is not personal recognition, but meaningful contribution. What makes Danish design truly powerful is its humility. It does not demand attention. It earns appreciation through use. It blends into life so naturally that its impact is often felt before it is noticed. This quiet effectiveness is precisely why the world continues to learn from Denmark. In a global culture increasingly driven by speed and spectacle, Danish design offers a reminder. The most successful solutions are often the simplest. When design begins with empathy and purpose, it can transform not only objects and spaces, but the rhythm of daily life itself. What if a society could offer security without limiting freedom, and opportunity without fear of failure? In Denmark, this balance is not a theory. It is a system refined over generations, often misunderstood from the outside, yet deeply trusted by those who live within it. The Danish welfare model is not about dependency. It is about confidence. At the core of Denmark's social system is a simple promise: no one is left behind. Healthcare, education, and social support are not privileges tied to wealth or status. They are shared foundations. From the moment a child is born, the system is designed to support growth, learning, and well-being, creating a strong starting point for everyone. Healthcare in Denmark is universal and accessible. People seek treatment without fear of financial ruin. Preventive care is prioritized, reducing long-term costs and improving overall health. This security allows people to focus on living, working, and contributing, rather than worrying about survival. Education follows the same philosophy. From early childhood through higher education, learning is treated as a public good. Schools emphasize creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking. University education is accessible, allowing talent to emerge from all backgrounds. This investment in knowledge fuels innovation and social mobility. The welfare system also supports life's transitions. Parental leave, unemployment benefits, and retraining programs provide stability during change. These measures are not designed to remove responsibility, but to encourage resilience. People are more willing to take risks, start businesses, or change careers because failure does not mean collapse. High taxes are often cited as a cost of this system, but in Denmark, taxes are seen differently. They are visible investments. Roads, schools, hospitals, public transport, and cultural institutions are well maintained and accessible. Transparency builds trust. People see where their contributions go and how they benefit the collective. Work culture reflects this balance of support and expectation. Employees are protected, but accountability remains strong. Flexibility allows companies to adapt while ensuring workers are treated fairly. This model encourages productivity, innovation, and loyalty without fear-based pressure. Importantly, the system is built on mutual responsibility. Citizens contribute because they believe others will do the same. Abuse of the system is socially discouraged, not just legally controlled. This shared ethic reinforces sustainability and fairness. The Danish welfare model also strengthens social cohesion. Inequality is reduced. Opportunities are more evenly distributed. When basic needs are met, divisions soften. People are less defined by survival and more by contribution. This creates a society that feels stable, calm, and cooperative. Critics often question whether such a system can work elsewhere. Denmark's success lies not only in policy, but in trust and culture. Rules are followed because people believe in the system. Institutions function because they are held accountable. This alignment between values and structure is difficult to replicate, but powerful to observe. Over time, the benefits compound. A healthy, educated population drives economic growth. Social safety reduces long-term costs. Stability encourages innovation. The welfare system becomes not a burden, but an engine of resilience. Denmark's model challenges a common assumption that freedom and security are opposites. Here, they reinforce each other. People feel free because they feel safe. They take initiative because support exists. They invest in society because society invests in them. As the world grapples with inequality and uncertainty, Denmark offers a clear message. When a system is built on trust, transparency, and shared responsibility, it can empower individuals while strengthening the whole. How does a small country consistently produce ideas, companies, and solutions that shape the global future? Denmark's innovation does not emerge from chaos or relentless pressure. It grows from stability, trust, and a deep belief in cooperation. Here, creativity is not forced. It is supported. Denmark's innovation ecosystem is built on strong foundations. Education emphasizes problem-solving, curiosity, and teamwork from an early age. Students are encouraged to question, experiment, and collaborate rather than compete endlessly. This approach produces thinkers who are confident, adaptable, and open to new ideas. Research and development thrive through close collaboration between universities, private companies, and government. Barriers between sectors are low. Knowledge flows freely. Ideas move quickly from theory to application. This cooperative structure accelerates progress while reducing waste and duplication. Startups benefit from an environment that balances security with flexibility. Entrepreneurs have access to funding, mentorship, and networks without facing extreme personal risk. Social support systems allow founders to take chances without fearing total failure. This safety net encourages bold thinking and long-term vision. Denmark's digital infrastructure plays a crucial role. Public services are highly digitized, efficient, and user-friendly. Citizens interact with government through seamless digital platforms, saving time and reducing complexity. These systems also create data-driven insights that improve policy and innovation. The private sector reflects the same values. Danish companies often prioritize sustainability, ethics, and social responsibility alongside profit. Long-term value matters more than short-term gain. This mindset builds trust with consumers, partners, and employees, strengthening global competitiveness. Design thinking influences innovation across industries. Solutions are built around human needs rather than technical complexity. Whether developing healthcare technology, renewable energy systems, or digital platforms, Danish innovators ask how their work improves real lives. Failure is treated differently in Denmark. Mistakes are seen as learning opportunities, not personal flaws. This reduces fear and encourages experimentation. Teams iterate, refine, and improve without stigma. Over time, this approach produces more resilient and effective outcomes. Denmark's size becomes an advantage. The country functions as a testing ground where ideas can be piloted quickly and scaled efficiently. Successful models are refined at home before being shared with the world. This agility allows Denmark to stay ahead of larger, slower systems. Global influence grows naturally from this process. Danish innovations appear in clean energy, healthcare, biotechnology, digital services, and urban planning. These solutions are trusted because they are practical, ethical, and proven. The culture of collaboration extends beyond border. Denmark actively shares knowledge and partners internationally. Innovation is not guarded as a weapon, but offered as a contribution. This openness amplifies impact and builds long-term relationships. What truly sets Denmark apart is alignment. Education, policy, culture, and business reinforce each other. Innovation is not isolated in laboratories or startups. It is woven into daily life. People feel empowered to contribute ideas, knowing they will be taken seriously. As the world searches for sustainable progress, Denmark offers a compelling model. Innovation does not require constant disruption. It thrives when people feel secure, respected, and connected. In Denmark, the future is built not through urgency, but through trust-driven creativity. What does leadership look like when it is not loud, forceful, or centered on power? In Denmark, leadership is quiet, structured, and deeply collaborative. It does not revolve around personalities or dramatic promises. Instead, it is defined by consistency, accountability, and an almost relentless focus on long-term outcomes. This approach has shaped Denmark into a nation others study, not because it dominates, but because it functions. Danish governance begins with trust, but it is sustained by transparency. Decisions are explained. Data is shared. Processes are open to scrutiny. Citizens are not expected to blindly accept authority. They are invited to understand it. This openness strengthens legitimacy and reduces the distance between institutions and the people they serve. Political culture in Denmark emphasizes cooperation over confrontation. Disagreement exists, but it rarely turns destructive. Compromise is not seen as weakness. It is seen as responsibility. Policies are refined through dialogue, expert input, and public consultation, ensuring that outcomes reflect collective interest rather than narrow agendas. Long-term planning is one of Denmark's greatest strengths. Infrastructure, education, energy, and urban development are guided by visions that extend decades into the future. Short-term popularity rarely overrides long-term benefit. This patience allows Denmark to make difficult decisions early, avoiding crises later. Local governance plays a crucial role in this system. Municipalities have real authority and resources, enabling solutions tailored to local needs. This decentralization increases efficiency and responsiveness while maintaining national cohesion. People feel closer to decision-making because it happens near their daily lives. Public servants are respected professionals, not political tools. Hiring is based on competence rather than loyalty. Continuity is preserved across political changes, ensuring stability and institutional memory. This professional culture allows systems to improve steadily rather than reset with every shift in leadership. Denmark's international leadership follows the same principles. The country does not seek dominance. It seeks credibility. Through diplomacy, development aid, and global partnerships, Denmark contributes solutions rather than rhetoric. Its voice carries weight because it aligns words with action. Crisis management reveals the strength of this approach. When challenges arise, responses are measured, informed, and cooperative. Clear communication reduces fear. Trust enables compliance. Flexibility allows adaptation. Denmark does not eliminate uncertainty, but it navigates it with calm precision. Citizens play an active role in sustaining this model. Civic engagement is high. Voting, public debate, and community involvement are normalized. People understand that democracy is not a service provided by leaders, but a system maintained by participation. Critically, accountability is enforced. Mistakes are acknowledged. Corrections are made. Leaders are not immune to consequences. This reinforces public confidence and prevents cynicism from taking root. The result is a society where leadership feels less like control and more like coordination. Institutions guide rather than dominate. Rules support rather than restrict. Power is exercised with restraint. In a world where leadership is often equated with spectacle, Denmark offers an alternative vision, one where strength is measured by stability, progress by consistency, and success by the well-being of the whole. It is not dramatic, it is effective. And that may be the most powerful form of leadership of all. What if nature was not something you escaped to, but something you lived with every day? In Denmark, the natural world is not distant or separate from daily life. It is woven into cities, communities, and routines so seamlessly that it becomes part of the national identity. Nature here is not treated as scenery. It is treated as a shared space, a responsibility, and a way of life. Denmark's landscapes are not dramatic in the traditional sense. There are no towering mountain ranges or vast wilderness frontiers. Instead, the beauty of Denmark lies in accessibility. Forests, beaches, fields, lakes, and coastlines are always close. You are never far from open land, water, or green space. This closeness changes the relationship people have with nature. It becomes familiar, not distant, personal, not abstract. The Danish coastline defines the country's character. Surrounded by sea, Denmark is shaped by water in every direction. Long beaches stretch along the North Sea and the Baltic, offering wide horizons, strong winds, and shifting skies. Dunes roll gently toward the ocean. Small harbors dot the shoreline, where fishing boats and sailboats rest side by side. Life here moves with the rhythm of tides and weather. The sea is not only a view, it is a presence. People swim year-round, walk the beaches in every season, and build their routines around the coast. Cold water bathing is not a trend, but a tradition. It reflects a deeper cultural belief in resilience, connection to the elements, and mental strength. Nature is not something to avoid when it is harsh. It is something to engage with. Denmark's countryside tells a story of balance. Fields, forests, and villages exist in careful harmony. Agriculture is visible, but not overwhelming. Windbreaks, tree lines, and hedgerows shape the land, creating a patchwork that feels organized yet organic. Farms are not isolated industrial spaces. They are part of living landscapes that support biodiversity and community life. Forests in Denmark are places of quiet and reflection. They are not wild and untamed, but protected and accessible. Trails invite walking, cycling, and exploration. Families gather for simple outdoor rituals. Children grow up learning that nature is safe, familiar, and shared. This early connection shapes lifelong respect for the environment. Urban nature is just as important. Parks, green roofs, waterfronts, and open spaces are built into cities by design. Green areas are not luxury features. They are essential infrastructure. They support mental health, social connection, and climate resilience. Even in dense urban areas, the presence of nature is constant and intentional. Environmental responsibility in Denmark is cultural, not performative. Recycling, conservation, and sustainability are habits, not slogans. Respect for nature is taught early and reinforced socially. People protect what they feel connected to. Because nature is part of daily life, caring for it feels natural, not forced. The emotional impact of Denmark's nature is subtle but powerful. It calms rather than overwhelms. It restores rather than distracts. The open skies, long horizons, and steady rhythms create a sense of grounding. In a fast, noisy world, this quiet presence becomes a form of strength. Seasonal change shapes the national rhythm. Long summer days bring light, movement, and energy. Dark winters bring stillness, reflection, and closeness. Nature sets the pace, and society adapts to it rather than resisting it. This alignment creates resilience and balance. Denmark shows that nature does not need to be extreme to be meaningful. It needs to be accessible, respected, integrated. When people live with nature instead of apart from it, they protect it, learn from it, and grow with it. In Denmark, The land and sea are not backdrops to life, they are participants in it. And in that relationship, the country reveals one of its quietest strengths: a deep, enduring harmony between people and the natural world. What does happiness really look like when it is not marketed, measured, or chased? In Denmark, happiness is rarely dramatic. It does not announce itself loudly or depend on constant excitement. Instead, it shows up quietly in everyday life, shaped by security, connection, and realistic expectations. This understated approach is one of the most misunderstood, yet powerful, reasons the world pays attention to Denmark. Danish happiness begins with stability. When basic needs are met and the future feels predictable, stress loses its grip. People are not consumed by fear of sudden collapse. Healthcare, education, and social support form a safety net that allows life to feel manageable. This stability does not eliminate problems, but it changes how people face them. Expectations play a crucial role. In Denmark, success is not defined by constant upward comparison. Wealth, fame, and status are not the primary measures of worth. Instead, there is cultural acceptance of moderation. Life does not need to be extraordinary to be good. This mindset reduces disappointment and anxiety, creating space for contentment. Work-life balance reinforces this emotional foundation. Long hours are not celebrated. Rest is respected. Time with family, friends, and oneself is protected. Even ambition is tempered with realism. People aim to do well without sacrificing their entire lives to work. This balance supports mental health and long-term satisfaction. Community connection is another key element. Social circles in Denmark may be small, but they are deep. Trust allows relationships to feel safe and genuine. People rely on one another without excessive formality. This sense of belonging reduces loneliness and strengthens emotional resilience. The Danish approach to happiness also embraces honesty. Life is not expected to be perfect. Difficult emotions are acknowledged rather than hidden. This openness removes pressure to perform constant positivity. It allows people to experience lows without shame, knowing they are temporary and shared. Environment matters deeply. Calm cities, clean spaces, access to nature, and thoughtful design all influence emotional well-being. Noise is reduced. Chaos is minimized. Everyday surroundings support rather than drain energy. Happiness here is not just psychological, it is environmental. Children are raised with these values early. Independence is encouraged alongside security. Play is valued as much as performance. Learning is framed as exploration rather than competition. These early experiences shape adults who feel capable without being overwhelmed by pressure. Seasonal challenges are accepted as part of life. Long, dark winters are not ignored. They are prepared for. Light, warmth, and togetherness become intentional. This adaptability strengthens emotional endurance. Happiness is not seen as a constant state, but as a rhythm that rises and falls. Importantly, Denmark does not claim to have perfected happiness. Rankings and studies attract attention, but inside the country, happiness is not treated as a contest. It is simply a byproduct of systems that work reasonably well and a culture that values balance over extremes. What makes the Danish model compelling is its realism. It does not promise endless joy. It offers something quieter and more sustainable. A life where stress is manageable, relationships are reliable, and expectations are humane. In a world that often equates happiness with achievement and consumption, Denmark offers a different definition. Happiness is not something to chase. It is something that emerges when life feels fair, supportive, and calm enough to breathe. And perhaps that is why Denmark's version of happiness resonates so widely. It is not flashy. It is believable. And in today's world, that may be its greatest strength. Why does the world look at Denmark with fascination, admiration, and even envy? It is not the size of its economy, its population, or its military power that draws attention. Denmark's true influence is far subtler, yet far more enduring. It lies in a mastery of balance between freedom and responsibility, progress and tradition, innovation and humanity. The world wants Denmark not because it shouts, but because it quietly demonstrates how to live, lead, and thrive in a complex world. This small Scandinavian nation has built systems that function so smoothly, they almost disappear into daily life. Citizens rarely question whether public services will work. They simply do. Education, healthcare, transportation, social welfare, and urban infrastructure operate efficiently, reliably, and equitably. This seamless integration allows people to focus on creativity, relationships, and personal growth instead of survival. For countries struggling with instability or inequality, Denmark seems almost unreal, yet it is entirely real, tangible, and replicable, not through shortcuts, but through consistent long-term design. Trust forms the foundation of this society. People trust each other, trust their institutions, and trust the systems around them. It is a trust earned over generations, reinforced by transparency, fairness, and accountability. Citizens comply with rules, participate actively in civic life, and contribute to the common good because they believe in the outcomes. This culture of trust reduces friction, enables innovation, and fosters a sense of security that permeates every aspect of life. The Danish model demonstrates that freedom and responsibility are inseparable. Citizens enjoy extensive personal freedom, yet the same system that supports them also requires them to contribute. High taxes are accepted not begrudgingly, but as an investment in collective well-being. Public services are visible, reliable, and efficient, making people feel their contributions matter. Freedom here is not chaos. It is choice within a framework of shared responsibility. Innovation is deeply embedded, not as a flashy spectacle, but as a practical response to challenges. Denmark's solutions in energy, technology, urban planning, and design are globally recognized. Startups flourish, research thrives, and creative thinking is encouraged, all within a supportive societal framework. People take risks not out of desperation, but out of confidence that the system allows experimentation without catastrophic consequence. Balance extends into daily life. Work is important, but it does not dominate existence. Time for family, leisure, reflection, and community is protected. Mental health is valued as much as productivity. Even the urban environment supports this rhythm, with green spaces, bicycle-friendly streets, and public areas that encourage connection. Nature, community, and design are not afterthoughts. They are integral to life. Culture shapes and reinforces these principles. Concepts like hygge, coziness, togetherness, mindful enjoyment reflect a national commitment to well-being, human connection, and moderation. People do not chase excess, yet they do not settle for mediocrity. Happiness is not constant euphoria, but sustainable satisfaction arising from fairness, security, and connection. Historically, Denmark learned to survive and thrive through cooperation, adaptability, and long-term planning. From the Viking era to modern times, the nation relied on strategy, collaboration, and respect for systems that outlast individuals. This historical lens explains why contemporary Denmark emphasizes balance, foresight, and societal cohesion over short-term gain or spectacle. The Danish approach also influences the world externally. Its policies, technologies, and cultural practices are studied internationally. Cities seek to emulate Copenhagen's urban planning. Nations examine its energy systems, social structures, and educational models. Danish design is exported globally, shaping spaces, furniture, and lifestyles far beyond its borders. Denmark demonstrates that influence does not require size, it requires consistency, clarity, and trustworthiness. Ultimately, the reason the world wants Denmark is simple but profound. It has discovered a formula for modern life that other nations struggle to achieve. A society where innovation coexists with stability, freedom coexists with responsibility, and happiness is a byproduct of fairness and purpose. Denmark does not dominate through force or wealth. It leads through example. In observing Denmark, the world learns more than policy or design. It learns philosophy. It learns that human systems work best when they respect both individual ambition and collective responsibility. It learns that long-term thinking, trust, and balance produce societies that endure. Denmark's story is not one of sudden brilliance, but of deliberate cultivation. Every policy, every public space, every social norm reinforces an invisible architecture of success. And this is why, quietly and persistently, the world continues to look at Denmark not as an impossibly perfect nation, but as a living blueprint for what thoughtful, balanced, and human-centered society can achieve. The world wants Denmark not because it is flashy or loud, but because it shows a possible future, one in which people thrive, systems function, and progress is sustainable. And in that vision, Denmark's real power becomes clear, an enduring lesson that greatness is not measured by force, but by harmony, foresight, and the quiet mastery of everyday life. What makes Denmark's story so compelling is not just what it has achieved, but how it has achieved it. The nation's success is not the result of sudden breakthroughs or dramatic revolutions. It is the result of patient, deliberate systems built over decades, sometimes centuries, that prioritize long-term thinking over short-term gain. Every law, policy, and cultural norm is designed to reinforce stability, fairness, and efficiency. This meticulous approach is why Denmark consistently ranks among the happiest, most innovative, and most resilient countries in the world. The Danish economy provides an example of this careful planning in action. It is both robust and flexible, balancing entrepreneurship with strong social protections. Businesses are encouraged to innovate, yet workers are protected by labor laws that ensure fairness and security. Startups flourish because founders can take calculated risks without fearing personal ruin. Unlike many countries where growth comes at the cost of social cohesion, Denmark's economic system demonstrates that prosperity and equity can coexist. Public services are another pillar of Denmark's stability. Healthcare, education, and welfare are universally accessible, efficiently run, and trusted by the population. Citizens do not question whether these systems will work. They simply do. Hospitals operate smoothly, schools provide high-quality instruction, and social safety nets are reliable. This creates a sense of confidence that permeates daily life, freeing people to focus on creativity, family, and community rather than survival. Trust, in fact, is the invisible currency of Danish society. People trust institutions, and institutions are designed to deserve that trust. Government transparency, strong rule of law, and accountability mechanisms ensure that citizens feel their rights and contributions are respected. In turn, citizens comply with regulations, pay taxes, and participate in civic life, reinforcing the effectiveness of the system. Trust reduces friction and enables collective action, allowing Denmark to achieve outcomes far beyond what its small size might suggest. The environment is integrated into this system of balance. Denmark's commitment to sustainability is not a marketing tactic, it is a practical necessity woven into daily life. Cities are designed to be walkable and bikeable. Energy is sourced increasingly from renewables, and public spaces encourage interaction with nature. Danes grow up understanding that environmental responsibility is both a personal and societal duty. This seamless integration of ecology and urban design enhances quality of life while preparing the nation for future challenges. Innovation in Denmark thrives precisely because of these supportive structures. Creativity is not forced or rushed. Education encourages exploration, critical thinking, and collaboration, rather than rote memorization or cutthroat competition. Research institutions, government agencies, and private companies work closely together, accelerating the development of technologies in energy, healthcare, and digital services. The culture embraces experimentation, and failure is reframed as a learning opportunity, reducing fear and encouraging bold solutions. Leadership in Denmark reflects the same philosophy. It is steady, inclusive, and focused on long-term goals. Politicians and public officials plan decades ahead, consulting experts and citizens alike. Policies are refined slowly and deliberately, rather than enacted impulsively. This careful governance ensures that progress is sustainable, rather than reactionary or temporary. Even international leadership is exercised quietly but effectively. Denmark influences the world through example, knowledge sharing, and practical collaboration, rather than domination. Culture reinforces these systems at every level. Concepts like hygge, which emphasizes comfort, connection, and presence, reflect broader values of contentment, moderation, and collective well-being. Citizens are encouraged to prioritize relationships, mental health, and personal fulfillment, alongside professional success. This philosophy contributes to the nation's high happiness scores but it is more than a statistic. It is embedded in daily life, guiding decisions both large and small. Denmark's approach to society demonstrates a remarkable alignment between values and structure. Equality, trust, sustainability, and balance are not abstract ideals. They are operationalized in policy, urban design, and social norms. Citizens internalize these values, which reinforces the stability and effectiveness of the system. Change is possible, but it happens within a framework that protects both the individual and the collective. Even small choices like commuting by bicycle, participating in local governance, or recycling household waste become expressions of this broader philosophy. Every action is supported by systems designed to make it simple, efficient, and meaningful. Over time, these small, consistent practices accumulate into profound societal outcomes, creating a nation that functions smoothly without coercion, spectacle, or extreme inequality. Denmark's real influence is therefore invisible to the casual observer. It does not dominate through size, power, or force. Instead, it demonstrates that thoughtful systems, grounded in trust and foresight, can produce prosperity, happiness, and resilience. In an unpredictable world, this quiet mastery of everyday life offers a model that others cannot ignore. The lesson is clear. Greatness is not measured by conquest, wealth, or notoriety. It is measured by the alignment of culture, policy, and practice toward human flourishing. Denmark's story shows that when systems are designed to support people rather than exploit them, societies can achieve outcomes that seem extraordinary, but are actually the result of careful, consistent, and intentional design. Denmark's influence on the world is rarely loud, yet it is undeniable. The country's small size belies its global significance. Across energy policy, urban planning, design, social welfare, and innovation, Denmark has become a blueprint for what is possible when systems prioritize human well-being over short-term gain. This influence is subtle, operating not through domination, but through example, quietly inspiring other nations to rethink how they approach governance, sustainability, and quality of life. One of the most striking aspects of Denmark's approach is its integration of sustainability into every level of society. The nation has embraced renewable energy, not as a political trend, but as a strategic imperative. Wind turbines, solar panels, and energy-efficient buildings are everywhere, blending into urban and rural landscapes without overwhelming them. Denmark demonstrates that environmental responsibility can coexist with economic growth, proving that investing in the future does not require sacrificing the present. Cities like Copenhagen serve as living laboratories, showing how energy efficiency, public transport, and green infrastructure can create healthier, more functional urban environments. This commitment to sustainability extends to urban design, which emphasizes accessibility, community, and quality of life. Streets prioritize bicycles and pedestrians over cars. Parks, waterfronts, and public squares are integrated into neighborhoods, ensuring that residents can engage with nature daily. Public spaces are not mere aesthetics. They are instruments of social cohesion. They encourage interaction, reduce isolation, and allow for moments of calm within bustling cities. By placing people and nature at the center of design, Denmark sets a standard that other countries are eager to study and emulate. Education in Denmark reinforces these values from an early age. Schools emphasize creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration rather than rote memorization or competition. Students learn to value problem-solving, sustainability, and civic responsibility, internalizing principles that later shape how they work, innovate, and participate in society. Universities, research institutes, and private companies collaborate closely, turning ideas into practical solutions. This ecosystem ensures that innovation is not confined to laboratories, but permeates daily life, from digital services to renewable energy solutions. Trust is another cornerstone of Danish society. Citizens trust institutions, and institutions are built to deserve that trust. Transparency, accountability, and fairness form the foundation of governance. High levels of social trust reduce bureaucracy, encourage civic participation, and facilitate collective action. People pay taxes willingly because they can see tangible results. Well-maintained infrastructure, reliable healthcare, and inclusive education. This trust reinforces stability, allowing Denmark to experiment with progressive policies without destabilizing society. The welfare system exemplifies how Denmark aligns freedom with responsibility. Citizens enjoy extensive social support, including healthcare, unemployment benefits, parental leave, and education, yet they also contribute actively to maintain these systems. The result is a society where personal ambition is encouraged, but social cohesion is preserved. People are free to innovate, start businesses, or pursue personal goals without fear of total failure, while also supporting one another through shared responsibility. This balance creates resilience, equality, and a sense of fairness that permeates national culture. Innovation in Denmark thrives under this supportive framework. Startups and established companies benefit from a society that tolerates failure and encourages experimentation. Entrepreneurs know that taking risks is possible because social safety nets exist. Research is deeply collaborative, linking universities, industry, and government in networks that rapidly translate ideas into practical applications. Danish innovations in energy, health, design, and urban planning influence the world, not through imposition, but by setting examples that are replicable, effective, and ethical. Cultural philosophy reinforces all these systems. Concepts such as Hygge reflect a deeper understanding of what human flourishing requires: balance, comfort, connection, and presence. People are taught to value moderation, appreciate everyday life, and prioritize relationships and community over endless competition or consumption. This cultural mindset ensures that the systems in place are respected, maintained, and effective over the long term. Denmark's history has also shaped its present-day model. Generations of citizens learn to adapt, cooperate, and plan for the future in a relatively small and geographically exposed nation. These lessons in pragmatism, long-term thinking, and collective responsibility are embedded in modern governance, urban planning, and societal norms. This continuity provides stability and foresight, making Denmark resilient in times of change and uncertainty. Even in times of challenge, Denmark's systems demonstrate strength. Crises are managed with calm, data-driven approaches. Institutions respond efficiently. Public trust ensures compliance and cooperation. This reliability strengthens social cohesion, demonstrating that the alignment between culture, policy, and infrastructure creates a resilient nation capable of facing adversity while maintaining quality of life. What makes Denmark extraordinary is that this influence extends globally. Countries observe Danish energy policies, urban designs, social models, and innovation strategies, not to copy them blindly, but to learn from their principles. Denmark's small population does not limit its ideas. Its careful integration of trust, systems, culture, and foresight offers a model for sustainable prosperity that resonates far beyond its borders. Ultimately, Denmark's power is quiet but profound. It does not need to dominate or impress. It demonstrates what is possible when society aligns its values, institutions, and daily practices toward human flourishing. The world watches because Denmark succeeds in balancing freedom, innovation, trust, and sustainability, a blueprint for the kind of society many aspire to create, yet few have achieved. In this way, Denmark's influence is enduring. It is not measured by wealth or military might, but by its capacity to inspire, innovate, and maintain harmony between people, society, and the natural world. The lessons of Denmark remind the world that lasting success comes not from spectacle or speed, but from patience, trust, and the careful orchestration of systems designed to serve people, not the other way around. Denmark's true influence extends beyond borders, beyond headlines, and beyond conventional measures of power. While most nations are measured by GDP, military strength, or political clout, Denmark demonstrates that influence can be quiet, practical, and deeply sustainable. Its real power lies in its systems, culture, and the alignment between the two, a combination that other countries study, emulate, and aspire to replicate. This is a nation that proves success does not have to be loud to be profound. Central to this influence is Denmark's approach to governance. Political stability is not an accident. It is cultivated through transparency, accountability, and long-term thinking. Decision-making emphasizes evidence, dialogue, and compromise. Policies are not designed for immediate popularity, but for sustainable impact. This measured approach reduces polarization and strengthens trust between citizens and institutions. In Denmark, governance is not a performance, it is a service, and the population recognizes and supports this distinction. Trust functions as a foundation for nearly every aspect of Danish life. Citizens trust public institutions, and institutions trust citizens to act responsibly. This reciprocal trust reduces bureaucracy and increases efficiency. People pay taxes willingly because they see tangible results in healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social welfare. Compliance is not enforced by fear. It is earned through consistent, fair governance. Trust accelerates progress, fosters innovation, and allows Denmark to implement forward-thinking policies that might fail elsewhere. The country's approach to social welfare is a core reason for its global admiration. Denmark demonstrates that high-quality healthcare, education, and social support systems can coexist with strong economic performance. Citizens enjoy access to services without the fear of financial ruin. Children have equitable opportunities to learn and thrive. Workers are protected without discouraging enterprise. These systems are not static. They are constantly refined to maintain efficiency, fairness, and relevance. The result is a society where people can take risks, innovate, and contribute without fear of catastrophe. Innovation is another pillar of Denmark's global influence. The country consistently ranks among the most innovative nations, despite its small size. Startups flourish because people are supported by social safety nets that reduce the personal risk of failure. Universities, research institutions, and private companies collaborate closely, turning ideas into practical solutions for healthcare, energy, urban planning, and digital services. Innovation is not pursued as a spectacle. It is embedded into the fabric of daily life. It grows from trust, education, and culture, making solutions more sustainable and widely applicable. Sustainability defines both Denmark's identity and its global influence. Renewable energy, efficient infrastructure, and environmentally conscious urban planning are not simply trends, they are national imperatives. Wind farms dot coastlines, solar panels integrate into cityscapes, and district heating systems recycle energy efficiently. Cities like Copenhagen exemplify how urban areas can function sustainably while remaining livable and beautiful. These models are studied worldwide, inspiring cities and countries to rethink their own approaches to energy, mobility, and ecological balance. Design in Denmark is similarly influential. Danish design philosophy prioritizes simplicity, functionality, and human experience. Buildings, furniture, and public spaces are created with intention, enhancing daily life rather than demanding attention. This philosophy extends into urban planning, technology, and public services. Design is not mere aesthetics. It is a tool for problem solving, improving efficiency, and promoting well-being. Danish design demonstrates that beauty and utility are not mutually exclusive, and its influence is visible in cities, offices, and homes around the world. Cultural norms reinforce Denmark's success and its model of influence. Concepts like hygge, work-life balance, and moderation are not marketing slogans. They are lived values. People prioritize connection, comfort, and presence. And these priorities shape how systems are built and maintained. Happiness is approached realistically, with recognition of life's ups and downs, rather than as a constant chase for wealth or status. This cultural grounding enhances societal resilience and ensures that policies designed to promote well-being are respected and effective. Denmark's history provides additional context for its modern success. Generations have learned to navigate challenges with pragmatism, cooperation, and foresight. The small size of the nation and its geographical exposure fostered a culture of adaptation and long-term thinking. These lessons are embedded in governance, social structures, education, and innovation strategies, creating a society capable of responding to change while maintaining stability and trust. Even during crises, Denmark's systems demonstrate strength. The nation responds with calm, data-driven approaches, balancing short-term action with long-term planning. Citizens cooperate because they trust institutions, and institutions function because they have built accountability and competence into every layer of governance. This resilience reinforces the credibility of Denmark's systems, showing the world that stability, trust, and foresight can coexist with flexibility and innovation. Internationally, Denmark's example is studied as a model for sustainable governance, social cohesion, and economic innovation. Cities, governments, and institutions examine Danish policies not just for solutions, but for the principles behind them: trust, long-term thinking, balance, and integration. Denmark does not export dominance. It exports knowledge and methodology, demonstrating that influence does not require scale, aggression, or spectacle. At the heart of Denmark's global impact is a philosophy that human flourishing is the ultimate metric of success. By aligning culture, policy, infrastructure, and daily life toward well-being, the nation creates outcomes that are both measurable and deeply meaningful. Happiness, productivity, sustainability, and resilience are not treated as separate objectives. They are interconnected results of intentional design. Denmark teaches the world that influence is not derived from power alone, but from the quiet mastery of systems that work for people. Its lessons are enduring. Trust enables freedom, responsibility strengthens society, and thoughtful design, whether social, economic, or physical, creates harmony. In a world often dominated by short-term thinking and spectacle, Denmark stands as proof that patient, principled, and human-centered approaches can shape not only a nation, but inspire the world. The country's quiet confidence, systemic integrity, and holistic approach make Denmark a blueprint for sustainable success, showing that the greatest power may be the ability to harmonize human needs, societal systems, and the natural world into a living, functioning whole. Denmark's enduring influence is not a product of spectacle, wealth, or military might. Instead, it emerges from the quiet consistency of its systems, culture, and values, a combination that consistently produces a society capable of balancing freedom, equality, and innovation. This influence is visible both domestically and internationally, shaping how other countries approach governance, urban planning, social welfare, and sustainability. Denmark demonstrates that true power lies in alignment. When policies, institutions, and culture reinforce one another, outcomes become sustainable, resilient, and broadly beneficial. At the heart of Denmark's model is a profound respect for human well-being. Social policies are not designed to create dependency, but to empower individuals to live full and meaningful lives. Universal healthcare ensures that no citizen faces catastrophic medical costs, allowing people to focus on personal growth and contribution rather than survival. Education is accessible at all levels, promoting creativity, critical thinking, and innovation. These systems function not as privileges, but as shared foundations that foster equality of opportunity. Citizens grow up confident that talent and effort, rather than wealth or connections alone, shape their paths. Trust is the invisible glue that holds Denmark together. Citizens trust that their taxes will fund effective, transparent services. Institutions trust citizens to act responsibly and engage in civic life. This mutual trust reduces friction across society, allowing resources to be deployed efficiently, policies to be implemented effectively, and innovation to flourish without unnecessary obstacles. Trust is reinforced by transparency, accountability, and ethical governance. Every decision, from local councils to national legislation, reflects this principle, creating stability that outsiders often marvel at. Economic structures in Denmark are carefully calibrated to balance growth with equity. Businesses are encouraged to innovate, startups are supported, and entrepreneurs can take calculated risks because the social safety net reduces personal consequences for failure. Labor protections ensure fairness, yet do not stifle creativity or enterprise. Denmark's economy shows that social welfare and economic dynamism are not opposites, they are mutually reinforcing. Workers feel secure, which increases productivity and fosters long-term investment in innovation and skills development. Innovation itself is deeply embedded in the culture and infrastructure of Denmark. Universities, research institutes, and companies collaborate fluidly, accelerating the development of technologies in renewable energy, healthcare, digital solutions, and design. Ideas are not confined to labs. They reach real-world applications quickly and effectively. Importantly, the culture encourages experimentation and views failure as a learning opportunity rather than a stigma, cultivating resilience and adaptability that strengthen both individuals and institutions. Sustainability is not treated as a trend, but as a core principle. Danish cities, like Copenhagen, integrate renewable energy, green transportation, and ecological design seamlessly into daily life. Wind farms, solar initiatives, and district heating systems provide clean, reliable energy, while urban planning prioritizes walkability, cycling, and access to nature. Environmental responsibility is embedded into both public policy and cultural norms, showing the world that ecological stewardship and high quality of life can coexist. Denmark's solutions are practical, scalable, and globally relevant, making the country a model for sustainable living. Design and architecture amplify Denmark's influence by demonstrating how human-centered thinking can enhance life at every scale. Danish design prioritizes functionality, simplicity, and longevity. Buildings, furniture, and public spaces are created to improve experience rather than dominate attention. This approach is evident in cities, homes, and workplaces, fostering comfort, efficiency, and well-being. Globally, Danish design principles have been adopted in offices, urban planning, and product design, reflecting the exportable power of thoughtful aesthetics paired with functionality. Cultural philosophy reinforces these systems. Concepts like hygge, which emphasize comfort, presence, and human connection, reflect deeper societal priorities. Life is not about excess or relentless competition. It is about balance, satisfaction, and meaningful engagement. Work-life balance, community participation, and environmental responsibility are normalized, not exceptional. These cultural norms ensure that the systems supporting health, happiness, and innovation are respected and sustainable over time. The Danish approach to crisis management further demonstrates the strength of its systems. In times of uncertainty, responses are measured, data-driven, and collaborative. Institutions function effectively, citizens comply willingly, and social cohesion remains intact. Stability does not come from force or control, but from trust, preparation, and shared responsibility. This resilience underlines why Denmark is frequently cited as a model for effective governance and societal stability. Education in Denmark plays a vital role in sustaining this cycle of influence. Students are taught not only technical skills, but also social responsibility, critical thinking, and collaboration. From early childhood through university, learning emphasizes creativity, empathy, and practical problem solving. Graduates enter society prepared not just to work, but to contribute to the collective well-being, ensuring that values of trust, sustainability, and innovation are perpetuated across generations. Denmark's global impact is amplified by its ability to export knowledge, not force. Nations and cities look to Danish examples in energy, urban design, social policy, and education for lessons they can adapt. Copenhagen's urban infrastructure, wind energy systems, and citizen-centric services are studied worldwide. Rather than imposing solutions, Denmark demonstrates possibilities, offering replicable, tested models for sustainable, human-centered development. Ultimately, Denmark's influence rests on a simple yet profound principle: aligning culture, governance, and infrastructure to serve human flourishing. Happiness, resilience, innovation, and sustainability are not treated as separate goals. They are the natural outcome of a society designed with foresight, trust, and balance. Countries may envy Denmark's rankings in quality of life or happiness indexes, but the true lesson lies in understanding the careful orchestration of systems and values that produce those outcomes. Denmark proves that power can be quiet, systemic, and enduring. Influence does not require size, wealth, or spectacle. It arises from alignment, foresight, and consistent cultivation of trust and values. In a rapidly changing world, Denmark's model offers a roadmap for nations aspiring to create societies that are prosperous, resilient, and deeply human-centered. The world watches not because Denmark dominates, but because it exemplifies what thoughtful, deliberate, and principled design can achieve on a societal scale. Denmark is proof that greatness doesn't have to be loud. It thrives quietly, through trust, foresight, and balance, showing the world that a nation can be prosperous, innovative, and happy all at once. Its cities, systems, and culture are more than beautiful. They are functional, sustainable, and inspiring. As we leave Denmark behind, the lesson is clear. The most powerful influence is not through force or wealth, but through the quiet mastery of systems that put people, planet, and progress at the center. Denmark doesn't just exist, it leads by example, inviting the world to reimagine what a nation can truly be. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.